You know what time it is, Mitchell. You know what time it is. Welcome back to the Richard Sherman podcast. The schedule has been released, and my goodness, Mitchell, our Thursday night schedule looks fantastic. I think we got 12 divisional games, but let's talk about some of these schedules that we got for some of the teams that we love to follow, Mitchell. Starting with
Richard, the NFL does it right, man. There's really no break ever. You know, we go right from the draft. A couple weeks later, we got this schedule release. Everyone's talking about it. Let's jump right in on it. The San Francisco 49ers, they open at home against Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Prime time. Richard, this is going to be a much anticipated game. What are your thoughts going in right out the gates, Monday Night Football against the Jets?
Well, it's going to be a great game. First off, I think that's a great matchup. Robert Saleh coming back to San Francisco. You know, so many storylines. Brick. It's a great matchup. Figuring out what Nick Sorensen's going to be as a D coordinator. You know, how does Brandon Staley fit in? You know, the just dynamic of the defensive makeup, what they look like without Eric Armstead. What Aaron Rodgers looks like. You know, what does Brock Purdy look like in his third year? So many storylines, but I think the San Francisco 49ers get this game because Aaron just hasn't played historically well against them, at least in the last 4 or 5 years. You know, when he's come to San Francisco, whether it's playoffs or regular season, it's usually not going well. You know, you always have the storyline of they should have picked him, you know, hometown kid, you know, he had a shot at him, but uh, I got the San Francisco 49ers winning that game. Then they go to Minnesota, which is a tough place for some reason for San Francisco to play. Everybody remembers the game last year when they zero blitzed right before the half. You know, maybe why their D coordinator has a different job now. But it just wasn't great. But I see them winning that game against a young quarterback and McCarthy that, you know, will get that system down. I'm sure Kevin O'Connell will keep it simple for him early. They'll run the ball, but I don't know if they got enough to beat them. The Los Angeles Rams is just a tough game, tough divisional matchup. It's in LA. Sean and Kyle, you know, Kyle has gotten the better of Sean majority of the time outside of that playoff matchup in the NFC Championship. But again, I have San Francisco winning that game. So starting it off 3-0. Then they play New England at home. That feels like a win, Mitchell. I don't believe in Drake May in that way. And it doesn't seem like he's getting a lot of positive reviews coming out of New England right now. So we got him San Francisco 4-0. I got him beating Arizona at home. The Seattle matchup, I will be there, Mitchell, Thursday night. That's going to be really fun. You know,
the Sherman Bowl.
The Sherman Bowl, as they call it. I think that's going to be a really fun game, a tough game. I'm excited to see what Mike McDonald draws up because he drew up a really great scheme for San Francisco last year when he was with Baltimore. Gave Brock Purdy and that offensive line a lot of problems. So I'm sure he's going to look back at that tape and try to draw up some of the same problems. I'm sure Kyle Shanahan is going to look at that tape and try to find solutions to it. I got that game in a tie, Mitchell. The Kansas City game in San Francisco is going to be another game. How do you not have that in prime time? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, what are we actually doing?
That might be the game of the year, and it's a 125 kickoff.
It's a 125 kickoff. Yeah, and it's not like this was like before, like you guys didn't have time and you don't know what that these teams just had played the Super Bowl. This is a Super Bowl rematch, and it's at 125. There's no way. There's no way. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. First off, that's crazy. But I think that's going to be a really good game. You know, Patrick has been the Achilles heel of this team. You know, both regular season and postseason. Obviously, won 2 Super Bowls on their back. I think San Francisco have a good plan. I thought they had a good plan for him in the Super Bowl. What they didn't have a good plan for is Chris Jones because they let him run scot-free a few times that they shouldn't have. I mean, I'd rather you triple team him than let him run free. But I think San Francisco finds a way to get that game. Dallas historically doesn't play well at San Francisco. I mean, I don't think they'll get blown out this time, but I don't think they'll win. I think the Tampa game is kind of a trap game, one of those games you could fly all the way out to Florida, you're lethargic, you're tired, stuff. It's a 10 a.m. game. I feel like they find a way to lose that game, Mitchell. They do find
Well,
a way to
how
lose that.
hard talk about that, Rich? I mean, two elements here. You got the bye week settled at week 9. Like you
Mhm.
being a former player, you know the rigors of this season. How important is it to have a later bye week in right here, dead middle of the season?
I mean, that's a perfect bye week. I mean, you with the 17th game, you could maybe push it a week or two, but I think you feel pretty good about that game. 8 weeks of the season, you're pretty much smack dab in the middle. Um, you feel good about that. Plenty of time
Well,
for
then
guys to rest.
you come out of the bye and you play, you travel, and we hear about it all too often more in college football, right? When these West Coast teams come East Coast and they just get blown out because they're starting at 9 a.m. their body time. Richard, how tough is it realistically, you being a West Coast guy, to go and play at 10 a.m.? I mean, is your body adjusted, or is that tough for you guys?
It I don't know. You try not to ever make an excuse about it, Mitchell, because you just got to deal with it. So I guess you don't really know. You know what I mean? I couldn't tell you if my body's adjusted, my body's not adjusted. Um, you just go out there and play because we play some 10 a.m. games where we beat the heck out of teams, and then you play some 10 a.m. games where you're getting beat by bad teams. We played Miami one time at 10 o'clock, and I want to say they won 3 games that year with Tannehill, 3 or 4, and we lost to them. And we went on to I want to say we went to the playoffs that year. We might have went to the Super Bowl that year, but those are tough games. I think, especially Florida. I mean, that's about as far of a way as you can travel. I think them coming back at home versus Seattle will be another tough game. Anytime it's in a division, it's going to be a dogfight. You got Green Bay in November. Again, I got them tying Seattle. 2 ties in the season, Mitchell. They're going to break the NFL record for that. Uh, Green Bay. I think it's going to be a really good game. Another rematch in the playoff rematch at Green Bay in Lambeau in December or in November. It could get dicey, Mitchell. I got to give you that. It could get dicey. I
Mhm.
know. I know. Brock played at Iowa State, and it got pretty cold out there. But Lambeau in November, December it can be tough, and it can be tough for everybody. So I think that's going to be a tough game. That may be a potential loss. So we got 2 losses on the schedule. Buffalo, I think they can go to Buffalo and get a win, especially coming off that loss. I think Chicago coming in, young team, a lot of weapons, but the young quarterback, I don't think he's gonna have some growing pains against this defense. I think that's a win. I think they beat the Rams again. I think they beat Miami. I think they lose to your Detroit Lions on Monday night at home. Detroit gets their revenge, and I think they finish the season with a win at Arizona. So
Richard, we're gonna have to clip the last 10 seconds of that. I need that. I need a
you need
reel
that.
for
You
that
need
for
that
sure.
injected into your
Oh
veins.
yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.